this episode of Motive Garage presented by Howtech, our R35 GTR is back. So it's been a little over a year since we had what is probably the world's cheapest R35 GTR on our channel. And if you've seen those two episodes, you know that we had an unexplained engine failure. We pulled that engine down at Croydon Racing Developments and quite simply couldn't find the cause. It just had a mechanical failure. Was it old age? Was there a mechanical defect? We simply don't know. But all I know is it was time to move on. Now, at that point, I had two choices. I could either buy a second-hand engine or I could go and buy a new block and head and get a billet girdle and build an engine. So I started looking around at second-hand engine options and I couldn't find an engine in Australia for under 28,000 Australian dollars. You heard that right. And in America, I couldn't find one for less than 25,000 Australian dollars, which plus freight would probably 30 grand or very close to it as well. It's a very expensive option to find an unknown second-hand engine and have all the risk associated with it. I also looked at the other option, which is to buy a brand new block, brand new head and a billet girdle and start building a pretty serious engine and just skip all the stock engine development. And then I found out that a block from Nissan is over 10 grand, a head's nearly 4 grand, and that build would have spiraled out of control into a very serious build. And quite simply, just didn't have the money for it. Another thing I didn't have was time. After last year's GTR Festival in Australia, I spent most of the year overseas getting ready for GTR Festival in the USA. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna wait and I'll see what happens. And hopefully we can get enough money together or time together or some optional deal would just fall into place and we'd come up with a solution. So I essentially forgot about it for a little while I wasn't in Australia, before the guys from Original Auto in Southern California gave me a call just before Christmas and said, do you still need a block and a head? I said, yes, I do. And they had a empty second-hand block, head, girdle, everything that was broken from my engine. They had that sitting around spare for their VR38 swapped R32. And I'll be honest with you, it's very uncommon to find spare empty engines out of an R35. And I think that's because anyone who rebuilds their engine just rebuilds the one they have, or the thing explodes and leaves pieces of block all over the ground. It's very hard to find second-hand engines and even harder to find empty blocks. So I took the guys from Original Auto up on that offer. So we got a block, a girdle and a head sent over. And then the theory was I would take all of that and start a big build for our GTR. But once again, time and money is always the issue. We don't have millions of subscribers, so we don't always have the funding for every project car. But if you do want to help, you can share this video, you can become a member of our channel, or lastly, you can buy some merch like this. This is our R35 GTR t-shirt, and we have a whole new range of R32, 33, 34 available from our website right now. So, with engine parts available to me to build an engine, things took a little turn as we had a great opportunity pop up thanks to Mick from Motorsports Mechanical. I'll let him fill you in on what happened.
Oh, well, look, we've been doing the R32, R33, R34, 2J, SR. Then we started playing with the VR. The VR when I bought my Promod car. Obviously, it's Mr. 35 now. We've put all our time into everything to make it to where it is at this point. Obviously, the car's a workshop car, part of my team. It's part of my family. The guy is my family now, pretty much. Now we are where we are. We've gone 760s with the car. And obviously, the door's opened. We have a lot more cars coming. He's building another car now for roll racing because this one is a bit too big for roll racing Queensland. So he's building another street car, which is more tameable for roll racing Queensland. Well, I think we were sitting in Dubai somewhere. I can't remember. We were probably having dinner, hanging out. And I turned around and I had a bright idea. I said, Andrew, where's your 35? He said to me, it's parked up my factory with a blown up engine, but I can't afford an engine right now. And I turned around and said, he goes, I've got a block and heads coming, but I'm going to be 25 to 50 grand down to build an engine. And I said, man, one sec, let me ring Shawnee, because they're building him a new car, but his car's a running car. And he turned around and said, man, as long as he's benefiting you guys at the shop and you guys get benefit out of it and he helps you guys, yeah, man, go ahead. So then I turned around and I said, Andrew, bring me the car, I'll give you the engine out of Shawnee's street car. You sent me your old bare block and heads, which we're using on his built engine. Put them both on a hoist side by side and just dropped one out, slid it in and straight up in the other. Obviously it was a week before GTR Festival. And yeah, here we are. Well, look, yeah, like the opportunity came up with Boost Logic. Man, I'm excited because we can buy turbo kits, we can buy sumps off, and we can buy everything now to make a car as a bolt-on kit, in and out. And that's my biggest thing with these. I don't want them sitting around. I want a job to come in, get it done, out the door. That's why I'm excited to work with them, because these guys in the States have been doing it for many years. They've been playing, they're a lot further than we are in the 35 market. So for me, it's ideally, I just want to go to the next step with the boys and just move forward with it.
So with the car back together and running dead stock for this year's PRP GTR Festival Australia, I didn't want to waste any time and get into the modifications almost straight away. Now here's the thing with modifying an R35. There are so many great parts manufacturers in the USA. I've met with a lot of them, they've raced at our event in the US, and it's very, very hard to choose who to work with. And it simply came down to, I just wanted to work with Boost Logic. I've always loved their marketing, their branding, and the fact that they have nearly every R35 product under one roof to go from the basics all the way through to thousands of horsepower. So I reached out to Zahir from Boost Logic and said, we'd love to partner with you guys on the development of this car so we can stick with the one brand and help you guys be able to choose what you should do to your R35. So we got into it straight away. Now, the first thing I wanted for this car was a Boost Logic coolant reservoir, simply because the factory ones deteriorate, crack, and fall apart. We wanted their alloy and powder-coated version. The other thing we put straight into our list was a Boost Logic catch can, which they've tested in these cars into the thousands of horsepower range. It has a one-way valve with a drain back as well, so rather than empty the catch can, it goes through a drain back into the sump so you don't lose any oil, with a filter in there as well to get rid of any contaminants that may make its way in there. The other thing we also needed for this car from Boost Logic was a new oil cooler. And this is quite simply when we had the engine failure, material from that engine would have gone through the entire oiling system, and we needed a brand new oil cooler. Rather than get a factory one, it was actually cheaper to upgrade to a Boost Logic oil cooler for the car as well. Another thing that I've always wanted from Boost Logic was their fighter jet exhaust tips. I literally wanted them long before I've ever had the car. I know they're a love-hate thing, but our long-time viewers will know why I had to have them. Plus, they match the number plates perfectly. The first power modification that anyone will do to an R35 GTR that's tried and proven many times over is mid-pipe and tune. This is the most cost-effective and biggest power gain per dollar that you can get for one of these cars. There are lots of mid-pipe options out there, but the guys from Boost Logic said, take one of our Quadzilla titanium mid-pipes. This thing looks cool, sounds cool, but if you want to know why they did it simply because they can. Does it have any performance benefit over a traditional style mid-pipe? No, but who cares? It's titanium, it's lightweight, it looks mad, it sounds mad, and that's all that matters as long as it fits and works, which it does. For the first stage of tuning, we decided to go with the Cobb access port. Why? The thing I love about the Cobb access port is if you don't have access to a dyno or you want to get up and running quickly, they can simply send it to you, you upload the maps into your car, and you know it'll work. It's a tried and proven product with dyno results, racing results to prove it works. And they've also worked on the car for so long now, they've made sure their maps will work on different mods, different fuel, and be nice and conservative. And you already know it's a pretty good tune. Can they be developed further and be made a little bit better with tweaks? Yes, they can, but you don't do that unless it's on a dyno and you can actually test it out based on the conditions in your country. So I was a big fan of that, and also the fact that the Cobb hand controller, you get different readouts, you can get logging, you can take maps in and out of it, and it's just easy to keep upgrading. Another thing I really enjoy is the ability to have different maps and different boost levels on the steering wheel. We've set ours up so that we have essentially factory tune with no extra boost put into it. Then we have a sort of a medium boost setting and a high boost setting. So We're going to get them into the car now and see the results. Let's go.
.354 on our high boost, conservative. I didn't want to push it. I just want the car to be reliable, conservative. We did a TCM flash on it as well, just to get it to drive better. But now, obviously, our next thing will be the intakes, be the actuators. It'll be a long journey to go from here on. Now it's a package. I can say to someone, if someone comes and said to me, I bought a stock 35 GTR from Japan, what can I do? It'll be the same answer. Downpipes, cop tune, you're going to get this much power.
So one thing I love about the Cobb Access port is it's simple as this. Press the cancel button, up and down, and on the boost gauge, you'll see which map you've got. So I've got boost controller off, stock map, middle boost, high boost. Let's leave it on high boost, see how it drives. So the TCM tune means, watch this, it actually holds the gears a little bit longer. Rather than trying to get into 6th gear as quick as it can, it won't shift until at least like 2250 RPM, but the more throttle you have, the longer it holds the gear. So it's more intelligent than the factory tune. Why is that? The factory tune just wants to get into 6th as fast as it can for fuel economy, but you end up being stuck in too high a gear in traffic, and it always is trying to drop down gears to get moving. It makes it a little bit harder to drive briskly. So if we pull out from this intersection, where the guy nearly hit us, so we pull out from here, so if I hold more throttle, it holds the gear longer. So it makes it crisper and nicer to drive on a public road, in my opinion. But the first thing you're asking right now is, how fast is it? So if we find a freeway on-ramp, because, you know, that's the only place you can legally accelerate to merge for safety, let's see how fast it is. You can see a bit of this at the same time if you want. All right, here we go. I know an R35 is a bit more sort of stable and easier to drive, but honestly, 0 to 100 in this thing with a mid-pipe and tune is be pretty hard to beat it, to be honest. Like, it's quick. It's too easy. Too easy. Well, there you have it. I know it's been said time and time again, but an R35 GTR with a mid-pipe and tune is just quite simply an awesome street car. You've got 100 extra horsepower, it drives better than factory. There is literally no downside to having the mid-pipe and tune in the car for drivability with this car. In fact, if you've got an R35 GTR and you don't have a mid-pipe and tune, you are ripping yourself off and slowly but surely destroying your own life. You should trade your R35 in for a Camry because you don't like driving fast. But for a car that started life as the cheapest one and blown up and a tragic thing, it's now a pretty good ride. It's got a 68,000 kilometre engine in it, it's got a 2020 gearbox in it, it's got brand new rotors, pads and tyres on it thanks to Dixel brakes and Toyo. It's got a bigger radiator in it, new oil cooler, it's got an extra 100 horsepower, and it drives magic. Does that mean we stop now though? Of course not. There's plenty more to come, so subscribe and stay tuned.